I'd like to encourage you to consider putting all the information stuff aside and to share your direct experience that you know by heart. Because we get so much into the information and we lose the most important thing, which is the human contact, the mastery of the person that is sharing something with you. So that's a second thing. I think Jan's presentation was fabulous. He made one statement which I shared with him, which I think is the most important thing that I've heard here. I don't know. What I've noticed over the last 35 years is that we're continually trying to find proof for things we don't understand. And the problem is you can never convince someone that requires convincing. So if you pull that on someone that doesn't believe, they're going to find a way of seeing right through your crap. There is nothing more accurate than your direct experience. Remember that science is just a series of continually changing theories. It's just a theory that keeps changing. But your knowing is something that is absolute, especially if the knowing does not come from the chattering mind. It just, as Jan said it beautifully, I had a dream. It didn't come from him, it came through him. So I want to encourage you to be in the not knowing. He asked a couple of very important questions about how do bones regenerate and how do tissues regenerate. And how do you know where cells are supposed to go and so on and so forth. We keep speaking about ourselves being treated by something outside there because that's the only thing that we're aware of. And the place in between, we call it empty space. But the entire new science has realized that the empty space is absolutely filled. And what it's filled with is light. In fact, John Wheeler, the physicist, actually measured how much light is in there and stated that the amount of light is so bright that it's 100 times brighter than the corona of the sun. You just can't see it because it's a radial plenum. It's everywhere. Everywhere is the center. It has no contrast. Vision and all the other senses work on a basis of discontinuity. On, off, on, off. When you look at a movie, it looks like it's on all the time. But it's just a series of pictures going on and off. But when the pictures are going on and off at 186,000 miles a second, it looks like it's always on. And we know what the on looks like. This is the on. It looks like it's talking and so on. But the off is that field of infinite possibilities where information seems to go from one place to another without going through the middle, where the strength of the message is not reduced because of distance, and where information proliferates in uncertainty, which means it lives in not knowing. Everything is possible. So from that field, this incredible wisdom of regeneration and where the cells go and not go, that's where that comes from. I mentioned on Monday that in 1976 I had a profound experience with my vision during a meditation. That I had done vision training for a while and reduced my eyeglass prescription and my eyesight had improved, but then there was a quantum leap. Something that is totally not understandable to me occurred. I had a 300% measurable improvement in eyesight with no change in the prescription or optics of my eyes, and it has remained for 32 years. In fact, the eyesight is the same. I had 3 exams this year. Even though the prescription, the astigmatism is actually stronger. Okay? What I didn't share with you is that most of my life I had problems in school. I was considered a non-reader. I was one of those kids that you speak about that had attentional difficulties and couldn't read. I could read, I just didn't like to read. I never read books as a child. And it caused me great problems in school and the feeling that there was something wrong with me. I had that until 1971. It was my second year of optometric training. I just finished 2 years, and the grades were so low that I thought they were going to ask me to leave. Same experience I had my whole life. I worked very hard and couldn't get too far. And so when I entered my third year, the first thing that they did is they sent you to the clinic and they asked you to get a vision examination. The student doctor said to me, "Oh, you need a stronger pair of glasses." I'd heard that every 6 months since I started getting glasses. But he said something else I'd never heard before. He said, "You know, your eyes are not working together very well and may be contributing to your reading problem." Throughout my whole life, when I had vision examinations, the doctors always say there's nothing wrong with this kid's eye because I saw better than 20/20. He recommended I did some vision training, some special procedures each day, about 10 minutes a day. I did what everyone else did. I took the instrument home, but I never used it. One day I was doing my homework, and the same thing happened to me that happened every time I did my homework. I fell asleep. When I opened my eyes up, something happened. The first thing that entered my awareness was this device he had given me that was sitting in the corner of the room. I don't know why in that moment something changed, but it grabbed me. So I picked it up and I did these little procedures for less than 5 minutes, and then I read for an hour nonstop. I had never had that happen my whole life. It was so profound I started crying because up to that time I thought I was stupid. I did those little procedures about 10 minutes a day for 2 months, and then I made the dean's list, which means the top of the class, every single quarter until I graduated. That was a life changer for me. That's what got me into working in the area of vision training with children with learning difficulties, which was the biggest part of my practice initially. And that's some of the work that got me into light. The purpose of the eye and the purpose of potentially optimizing visual function is all about the transmission, the seamless transmission of light in and out. If you go to Germany and someone says, "Oh, I lost my eyesight," they don't say eyesight, they say Augenlicht, eye light. They've lost their eye light. If you go to Greece and they say you've lost your eyesight, they say Hanotophos mau. You've lost your eye light. The ancients seem to know that vision is related to light, and the vision goes when the light emitted from the eye is lost. And you know that when you look at someone who is not feeling well, there's no light in the eye. And when someone is bright and cheery like a child, it's very, very bright. This is extremely important. We focused a lot of energy on light coming in here, and that's a very important pathway. But that's not the only place that light comes in. When I showed that image the first day I came in, there was a head, there was a beam of light coming in and going this way. It seemed to be like an explosion of colors in the head, and then you saw this aura. And the assumption has always been it's coming in here and going out there. That's not really true. It's going both ways. This very subtle energy is materializing into the physical form. It's going both ways. The light is coming in through the eye, and there is a light of consciousness.